Hi, my name is Hope Klein, and today I will be filming my negative rebuttal for the moon debate with Katelynn Murphy on the affirmative, Bradley Klein also on the negative. So I will be supporting him and his arguments. So our opponent starts out her argument with saying that, talking about what America's primary fuel source is and actually how that is not clean energy, but we can harness clean energy, and in order to do this, the U.S. must increase its development of the moon's energy, helium-3, and saying that it should be funded by the federal government, and we should use all of our resources to mine for the moon for helium-3. The one thing about that is, though, that after, first off, my opponent, I was wondering the definition of helium-3, looking for a clear definition of what helium-3 actually is versus what it does. She does explain very well what it is supposed to do. I'm wondering what it is exactly. But anyways, helium-3 on the moon is actually not available as one might think. There's actually only a few particles per ton, so it would actually require a massive amount of mining to power an energy source, which was, once again, the main focus of her argument. And according to inhabitat.com, we don't know how much helium-3 is actually on the moon, and it would actually be very, very... it would take a lot to take that helium-3 to the moon and back to Earth. We actually still need to create the fission plants, or the plants that would make this helium-3 into energy. We actually still need to make those. Helium-3 is actually not a viable energy source because of that reason, because it can't be properly mined or harvested yet. The equipment that would be required is not... we haven't made it yet. For example, we need to work on the logistics of actually getting that equipment up to the moon. That way we would be able to harvest the helium-3. My opponent says that it can be funded by the federal government. The thing is, it would actually cost billions of dollars in order to go up to the moon. So I was just wondering, also with the logistics of getting to the moon, where my opponent was wondering where we would get that money. She did state that the federal government would fund it, but where is the federal government gonna get that money to go to the moon? My opponent states that the only way we can get clean energy is through the moon, through helium-3. But the thing is, the one thing that my opponent is forgetting to realize is the fact that there is still solar energy, and there are still other energy sources here on Earth that are clean that we can utilize, specifically solar energy. We have the sun. We can work on developing better uses of solar energy and working with what we have here on Earth before we go up to the moon, spend billions of dollars to get that helium-3 from the moon to bring it back here. We don't know how much energy it will create. It's not definitely known yet, the ratio of like how much helium-3 it takes to create X amount of energy. So it's possible that those tons could, according to inhabitat.com, they say that it takes 25 tons of helium-3 to power America for a year. That's only a year, and that's 25 tons. That's so much helium-3 in order to possibly give America energy. So we're not even sure how much energy we're going to get. It seems like it would be a better decision to actually just work with what we have here. Another thing that my opponent does not bring up is the fact that we're saying that the U.S. should mine for energy on the moon, but we don't own the moon. The moon's not ours. I guess I could say that the moon belongs to Earth as a whole, but we need to definitely create like a policy for who the moon belongs to, and who can go there. What certain parts of the moon would belong to us. We can't just go and decide this part of the moon's ours, let's harvest it, and that leaves out China and Russia. Although she is arguing for the betterment of our planet, we can't just not look at the repercussions. We can't just not ignore the possible bad that could happen. That's not to say that we should never go to the moon, but we definitely need to work out a policy for who the moon belongs to. My opponent is arguing that the U.S. should mine the moon for energy, but it seems as though it would be a better idea if the world collaborated to find a better energy source, possibly for the whole entire world, not just the U.S., because if the U.S. is mining for energy on the moon, just us using that clean energy source is not going to make a difference in the Earth as much as we'd like to, as it's not going to make as much of a difference as it would if the world actually was the one collaborating on that clean energy source. Just because we're using clean energy doesn't mean that the rest of the world wouldn't be. So the U.S. should not mine for energy on the Earth. Either we can work with the resources we have now, or possibly do research for the moon, but not just the U.S. The whole world can do it together. Thank you.